And we are live. Hey guys, welcome back to Seller Sessions Daily. Today is Thursday. Myro, it is Thursday. I'm losing days of the week. What are we on? It's Thursday, right?
I think it's Thursday. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. So this is the first time you've been on the show. So welcome. For those who don't know, do you want to give a little bit of a background on yourself?
Sure. My name is Miro Postvik. I own a supplement brand, and I've been selling online for about 10 years. I used to only sell to doctors. But 5 years ago, I got onto Amazon, and then I always had a website, and my website did okay. And then Amazon blew up, and Amazon, if you're in the supplements, Amazon is really random.
Mm-hmm.
So they started shutting off certain products and certain things would be banned. I get them back on. And I didn't feel comfortable having 98% of my income coming from one source.
Yeah.
So one of my goals last January was to just focus on my Shopify and build that up to something. So I've gone from 0 sales to mid 6 figures in about a year on Shopify.
Okay. Yeah. Did you have some struggles to get going, would you say?
I did. What happened was I had originally set up my Shopify site myself, and my visuals weren't there, my images weren't there, the setup wasn't there. I hired a team to do the site for me. I have a VA in the Philippines that does all my graphic work.
Yeah.
And what happened was she'd do a bunch of work, and we'd send it into my team. They'd be like, okay, this is terrible, right?
Yeah.
So we send it back, and now we've got it really dialed in. So it's a matter of doing every little thing well. It took me 6 months to get the newsletter to the point where the newsletter was producing sales for me. So it's just 1,000 little things. You guys all work online. You know how it is. It's not like one magical button I'm going to push and it's going to blow up. It's a matter of just all these little nitpicky things to get it going.
Makes sense. I'm going to say a few hellos. So first in the chat here, Owen Burrows. Hi, a beautiful day. I can smell the weekend. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the weekend because obviously we're going to get to the weekend. We're going to stay indoors and we're going to, so excellent. So the weekend is definitely coming, but it's good. Nice weather. I'm going to actually ask people in the feed, what are people going to do at the weekend? Do they have, we have this thing called Drink Champs on a Friday night. So we play games and stuff and have a few drinks with friends. I've got a double booking for tomorrow. Tiffany shared in my group, may express interest in wanting to learn about Shopify. That's good. Then Marcin says, afternoon, gents from London. Selville, welcome back. Hello from Singapore. Tiff again. Hello, guys. Channing's also here as well. Who we got in the feed here? Let's have a look. Bogdan's here. Shane is here. Brandon Young. Brandon, you owe me a call, mate. You never showed up to the show a little while ago. We have to get you back on. Sahal is here. Marcin is here. Oxy, hope you are well. And who else we got? Obviously, Owen, Gloria, and Mark. Louise is here as well. So we're still waiting for Joe. He's meant to be logging in anytime now. So let's just pick apart. Let's do a bit of a case study. You've gone from 0 to mid 6 figures, right? So you didn't want to rely on all your revenue coming off of Amazon. Walk me through some of the steps that took place. What, behind the decision making, for one, you said you sell supplements. Obviously, there's a long-term value of a customer there. There's also, it's perishable product, right? So people come back and buy every 30 days. Is that right?
Yeah, they do. They use up the product, and we have a pretty high return rate in terms of returning customer rates coming back. So because I'm in the supplement business, I have margin, so I'm able to spend more to acquire a customer than someone turning that's selling something at a lower markup. So that's been really helpful in what we're doing.
Yeah. Cool. And so just walk us through, so you built on Shopify, right? Would you say that you're like an expert at this, or did you bring in the team? Let's walk through how you got from 0 to 6 figures, what your knowledge base is, so it sets the tone for the call so everyone else understands. Because the point I'm trying to get to is that I don't sell off of Amazon, but I know how tough it is because I've done numerous sites. I've run commerce sites. I've done PPC. I've had my ass handed to me by all the big ticketing companies. But then I got to a stage where you find your niche, and I got a ROAS of 10. So for every £1 I spent, I returned £10 in ticketing. But it becomes, you have to get into the niches. You have to find it where it works, and you have to look where your competition is. So take it back to the building the site. What was involved? Did you bring outside expertise? Walk us through those stages.
Well, I just for my background, I was a computer guy years ago, so I'm very comfortable in computer world. I did WordPress, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So, what I put together originally, my first Shopify site was competent, right? Mm-hmm. And the thing is, competent isn't good enough. You really got to be really good. Because I've been pretty successful on Amazon, I had a pretty good budget to work with. I just said, I'm going to throw money at this till I get it right.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I did. I hired one marketing company and they did absolutely nothing. And I fired them. I was on 3 Google guides until I found a guy that knows how to do Google pay-per-click. And now getting some good results. And I just got with him in, I'm going to say November. Yeah. And really seen a big increase since November. The first 2-3 months with this guy, I was just, burning money, barely break even. And now we've kind of got it dialed in a little bit. So we're starting to get some action on it now. But it's just every little thing. It's hard to let your ego down saying, hey, I can design a website. Yeah, I can design a website, but can I design a website that converts?
Yeah. No, this is about conversion optimization. Just design on its own is bullshit. Exactly. Like you've seen some of the ugliest sites on the planet convert really well through copy. Yeah, but there's a form and then there's function. You've got to get the blend right of the two. And that comes from constant testing, constant feedback, split testing, and just understanding how the data works in order to make those micro improvements, because it's the composite whole that makes a difference.
Well, exactly. It's a grind. It's all these little details. Like I use PickFu a lot in terms of our packaging, in terms of what we do. And, very often what you think is, are you familiar with the PickFu website?
Yeah. They're one of my sponsors for some of my events and stuff. Yeah.
Well, there's a freebie for them.
Yeah.
Something that you think in your head, hey, this is gonna be great.
Yeah.
Nobody's responding to. Nobody's talking to. You know what I mean? It's just it's really random. So yeah, right. It's incremental improvement. I hired I've never done well on Facebook. I tried 3 different Facebook guys. I finally gave up on Facebook. It's a matter of what's going to work in your niche. Yeah. There is one stop hits all answers. A big pain point for us was the newsletter. I had a big list of all my old customers and we emailed everybody, and we actually ended up just scrapping the list and starting from scratch. And now my from scratch list is getting like a 20-30% open rate depending on the topic. Whereas before I wasn't even in 1%. I was getting, I was getting fewer openings with a 15,000 person list. It was ridiculous.
Yeah. This is the thing though, what I think people got to realize is that you have to test every channel, and then you find the channel, then you double down. I had the same thing, slightly different, and I do it. Everything I do, you test the channel to find out. You can run Facebook ads and they don't convert. Don't mean that the guys that you use are shit. It just might mean that the product and the connection is not there. Some things simply don't work. So you have to find the channel that does. So give an example. When I started seller sessions back in 2017, it started off as a webinar. The webinar converted into a main list. The main list was then sent to YouTube videos. The YouTube videos, we took the content and built a blog, and then reversed back and wrote show notes to those and built SEO traffic, right? But the podcast exploded when it became a podcast. Does that make sense? So what happened is we found we were doing single digit growth. And then with the podcast, it went 40% month on month growth. It just took off like a rocket ship. But, so there's these other channels that we've got, like YouTube and stuff like that. It's barely legible. Does that make sense? So what you do is you find your channel, and then you double down. And there's no difference to a service-based business. It's no different to what you're doing with your products. You might find that Twitter ads could work exceptionally well, and SEO traffic and Facebook ads are useless. Do you know what I mean? But you have to go through each channel. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, one of the things that we found surprising is we create product videos to show our products, and we put them on YouTube, and not even paying attention to YouTube. And I woke up one day and I realized, hey, I got almost 2,000 subscribers on YouTube. And I didn't know, we don't even look at it. We just keep dumping stuff on there.
Yeah.
And we're realizing, going through analytics, that people coming off YouTube were converting at 28%. Yeah. Right? So even though there wasn't a ton of them, the people that are coming off there were buying. So one of our focus in the last month or so has been, hey, let's give the YouTube channel a little more love and attention.
Yeah. Yeah. So we've established that you had to find. So would you say today, from the 9 months to year learnings to get into $500,000 or whatever in terms of revenue? What are your most distinctive channels as of today? Now you've been through it, is key for you?
In terms of channels, or you mean in terms of where does my sales velocity come from?
Yeah, from where does the sales come from? From which channels have you built and become most successful for you?
Okay, I would say my number one sales source is Google Ads.
Mm-hmm. And that's shopping ads?
Google Shopping ads I do very well with because people are doing a specific search. I sell a very large variety of supplements for a variety of health issues. Mm-hmm. So me doing a Facebook ad, unless someone has that specific problem, has no value for me. They're not going to buy. They're not going to convert, right? Yeah. So number one is Google Shopping ads. Number two is actually Amazon. Yeah. What happens is all of our products we're brand registered, have my website on there. And we have, because Amazon is so picky, some of our products aren't allowed on Amazon. So people get introduced to our company through Amazon and they come directly to my website, which is pretty cool. And then the rest of it is just repeat customers, some on YouTube, a little bit on Facebook, but mostly it's Google Ads. Okay.
And what types of strategy you've got in place for your SEO? So let's go back to the site. So you're using Shopify and the initial and all the different plugins that are available. Yeah. Got to understand is that I'm not a Shopify user, so I might ask some dumbass questions. So you're on Shopify. Yeah. And I know that Shopify has a developer community, isn't it? And it's got various different plugins. What is the setup for your Shopify store? What kind of plugins are you using?
I really don't. I mean, there are some tools that will do SEO for you and some of the automated stuff. My Google guy handles my SEO because I'm in supplements. I don't really appear. Google has a bias against my specific industry, my specific type of supplements. Yeah, I don't get a big SEO hit organically. But what we do is we use a website called IneedArticles.com, and what we do is we have them write 2,000-word articles around our specific topics, right? Yeah. So we'll introduce a health concern and have them, write up how to naturally deal with headaches or whatever else. And they'll write an article for us. And we'll include that article in our blog, in our YouTube videos, on our Facebook, and that kind of stuff. So we're doing some old-fashioned nuts and bolts SEO for it.
Yeah. Yeah, so you're spinning up some content and then you're seeding that across the different social channels. So who is managing that for you? Do you have a team doing that? Are you doing it yourself or what?
I have a copywriter that I use, and the amount of stuff that we have to produce in terms of copy, too much for us. So we've broken it down where I have someone that writes product descriptions. I have the company that does articles, and she's become more of an editor than an actual copywriter for me. She handles that for me.
What? So you're basically buying cheap end content, but then she becomes the editor to rewrite that content so it's in your tone. Is that what you're saying?
Well, what she does is, for example, for the articles, she'll give them a template for the article saying, "Hey, we want an article about this. Yeah. Here's the tone we want. Here's the keywords you want used," and then they'll produce the article. And the article is not bad, and then she cleans it up. I'll tell you what, though, with the I Need Articles website, the scary part is how quickly they produce the content for you. Yeah. I mean, you put it at 2:00 and at 6:30, they have it for you.
Is it all human or is it AI as well? Because there's some sites that can generate and then they have manual editors as well.
Yeah, it's all human.
Yeah. Okay. And so how long was it until you started to see some traffic for that? Because SEO normally takes 6 to 9 months unless you're doing obviously some black hat stuff, but it's very difficult on Google nowadays. So you have to kind of play the long game. So let's take it back to what determines how do you obviously you understand the structure of the page in terms of you're providing keywords and the order. I take it you're doing it by search volume and then down in terms of in the articles, in the titles, etc. It's been optimized. They know what to do there. How are you measuring that as well? Are you using Google Analytics or what?
Well, we're using Google Analytics, but we developed a kind of a cheat a few months ago. Are you familiar with the Uber Suggest tool? Mm-hmm. Okay, so we took Uber Suggest. Yes. And we did a spreadsheet with all of our products. We have 400 products. Mm-hmm. And they were different keywords. So we were doing keyword searches against Uber Suggest. Yeah. So we used Uber Suggest as a what do you call it? As kind of a ranking system. So okay, look, I don't care which product I sell, right? As long as I sell something. Yeah. We found, like, for some health issues, like something like headaches, there's already a million products for headaches. It's really hard to compete for headaches, right? but something that's not as common, we might be the only people advertising that. So we've been using the Uber Suggest spreadsheet as the way to gather low-hanging fruit.
Yeah.
So for some issues, you're going to spend a ton of money on advertising and SEO and all this stuff, and you will never rank because you have big pharmaceutical companies, buying up keywords at $20 a keyword. So by going after these little tiny niches, we've really been able to increase our effectiveness both with our spending and with our organic stuff.
Yeah. And you mentioned earlier, did I hear right, 400 products?
Yes.
Yeah. So basically it doesn't matter. As long as they land and buy something, you've got a higher rate of chance in terms of converting as long as it's presented in the right way. So with 400 products, how are you breadcrumbing the navigation on the site? Because it must be quite difficult to work out how you want to do this. And also when you're targeting your Google shopping ads, it's got to be key in terms of where the customers lay. So is there any specific way that you lay out the architecture for the site?
What happened was, this is a big issue for me before, because I had almost like a cloud page before where it had a program where someone would look up, let's say it's anxiety or depression or whatever else, right? And it used to be a really big problem for me, because how do you organize 400 products in a way that makes sense? So Shopify actually has a plugin where you put in the search bar and it'll actually give them, so if you go something like depression or anxiety, it'll bring up the products for you in a heartbeat. So that's been a lifesaver for me, because that's both easy to use, visually appealing, and it just solves a lot of my problems like that. So that is a great plugin in Shopify that does that for me.
Cool. So with 400 products, do you have, like, there's always, like, for you when you're looking at your analytics, you find in the top 5, top 10 are the ones that are selling, and then what do you do about promoting the other ones? Obviously they're not doing well, because you have to allocate time and money to each of these products, right?
Well, it's interesting because when I started this, my catalog was really geared towards practitioners, right? So when we got started online, I just took my entire product database and dumped it into Amazon and onto Shopify. So what we're doing now is actually trying to rewrite all the product descriptions. Most of my product descriptions have not been optimized. My visuals are pretty good, but it's been a huge undertaking to try to sit there and relaunch, 400 products. I would advise anyone against doing what we did, because we did it ass backwards. I should have started with 3 or 4 products and then built up from there.
But then you don't know, do you? Because you're working backwards. You're learning and what you can do there.
Yeah. What's interesting is our product mix is dynamic. In allergy season, we sell more allergy products. Right now with the virus, we're selling more cough products. I mean, it's all over the place, right? And we sell on Walmart.com.
Yeah.
And the Walmart customer is very different than the Amazon customer.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. I'm trying to add Joe to the stream here. He's having some technical problems, so hopefully he will appear in a moment. His page should be loading now. Michael is saying, on products you sell on Shopify, what's your average order value range, profit level, and are you looking for a product when you decide to sell online? Hold on, let's read that again. On products you sell on Shopify, what is the AOV, the average order value range, divided by profit level, are you looking for in a product when you decide to sell online? So what's the price point, basically?
My products vary between $17 and $129. 90% of my sales are in the $35 to $42 category.
Yeah.
So it really depends on, I like to make at least 5 to 6 times margin on the product, at least that much.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how you can do it with less. We just changed our shipping policy. We used to ship everything by FedEx.
Yeah.
And now we're off. FedEx just jacked up our rates. So now we're offering an option for regular shipping or a premium shipping option with FedEx.
Yeah, that makes sense. Sorry, we're live. I'm trying to get Joe on as well. So I'm just trying to stay on top of the questions and stuff. Selva says, on Shopify, all products are under their own brand, ? Do you also drop ship as well?
No, I don't drop ship. It's just, we use a contract warehouse that ships our products. I do offer my products as white label because we're a direct manufacturing source. Yeah. So we opened up a wholesale division about a year ago. Yeah. We're just working the bugs out of that, but yeah, we don't drop ship for other people. It's too much work.
Yeah. What else was going to ask you? Sorry, I'm just typing to get Joe on. There seems to be an issue with him here. So the other thing I was going to say to you as well is with 400 products, where do you stand in the sense that, like, in terms of where you put your effort into, and how did you get to 400 products? Because that's almost like a spray and pray, if you like. Because not many, do you see what I'm saying? It's like you've got all of these products, and if you're doing mid six figures with 400 products, that's a lot of products to be shunting around for the return on revenue. Do you know what I mean, per product?
Well, what happened was, because we originally started, what saves me is I have a very long expiration date of my products, so I've got a good 7 years on that, right? So my inventory is not aging out every 6 months, but it's still an issue. Like, I came into it, like I said, backwards. My whole thing was, okay, we're going to put these out here. And there is a lot of spray and pray. Like, my best-selling products this month are very different than when a year ago. And what I thought would be best-selling products in the big categories like eczema and other stuff, we don't sell well because there's too many competitors in that space. So we've been very lucky. We had a product that was just a knockout about 3 years ago, and we were just crushing it. And turned out it was a patent violation from another company, a trademark violation. And they gave us a cease and desist. And this one product was like 80% of my sales. So it wiped out like a huge chunk of my business. And now my business is a lot more spread out. So probably my top 25, 30 selling products are 80% of my business, which I'm okay with. So if I lose one, it's not the end of the world. And that's the real problem, because anyone that has supplements on Amazon, you know what? If one of your competitors has a similar product, they ever have a problem, Amazon just shut down the whole range of products. Like they'll just shut you down overnight. And if you have one product, 80% of your sales, you're dead in the water.
So being supplements, I take it you're doing contract manufacturing in the US, right? So what are your MOQs if you're doing 400 products? Do you have very low MOQs, which allows you to manage your cash flow a lot better?
I use an overseas manufacturer, and what I do is I order the products, because I still have a business that sells to doctors. So we order a container a couple times a year.
Oh, okay. So you actually, all the products you do ship overseas. You're not doing anything local.
What I do within the U.S. is I repackage them in terms of labeling U.S. standards. I use American standard labeling, packaging, graphic design, that kind of stuff. Yeah,
no, that makes sense. Cool. So let's talk about some of the channels, the day-to-day marketing that you're doing at the moment. So walk me through, like, cart abandonments, what kind of things that you've got set up, like Flowsic stuff, to follow up the customer and cross-selling, etc.
Shopify has a really slick system. If someone abandons a cart, they'll send them a bunch of emails. It's like I said, it's all automated. We made a few changes to the system in terms of our own text. But for the most part, it's not a big complicated thing. I mean, Shopify does a lot of the work for you. When I first started with Shopify, it kind of hurt my pride a little bit. Like, I can do my own programming and I have my own web domain and I can do it for cheaper. I have to make a decision. Am I a computer guy or am I an online seller? Because when I had the WordPress sites, I was spending 4 hours a day just tweaking the website and doing crap all the time. And I'm not doing that anymore.
Okay, question here coming from Kirsten. New to the SEO game, when you use Uber Suggest to find your low-hanging fruit, are you then running Google ads for those?
Yeah, we are. What we're doing is I had my virtual assistant do up a spreadsheet, and it's a huge spreadsheet. You figure 400 products, 10 keywords per product. It gets pretty big pretty fast, right? Yeah. So what we've done is we provide those spreadsheets to our Google guy. And what he does is he will actually, build campaigns around those keywords that are the low-hanging fruit.
Yeah, that makes sense. Were there any other questions here? We covered Michael's question. Okay, so what's the game plan for you over the next 18 months? So what's your roadmap? What are your plans?
Right now, we're actually we're doing a pilot right now we're going to try YouTube ads. Yeah. What I've done is I worked with a guy that was in the seminar business. He had this 12-step program to convert people to buy seminars. Yeah. And I took that 12-step sales program and I converted it into like a product template. So for each video, it's basically say, hey, do you have this health issue? And then we define the health issue. Then we apply emotional context to it. And then we present a solution and features and benefits. And then we're going to, hit them with the guarantee and the closing. So we're doing that matrix right now. And hopefully, because I don't see a lot of people with my kind of product advertising on YouTube. And I think contextually, I think it has a lot of potential for me.
Yeah. And when you say contextually, just running the contextual ads, or are you going to make video content as well? So
we're going to make video content.
Yeah. Okay. So each content is related to that. So let's look into that, because content isn't normally cheap to produce, right? So it depends on what you're doing with script writers and video, like video content editors, background music and stuff. Depends if you've got licenses and stuff in place. What kind of things are you doing to build out your content for these promotions?
So what we've done is I've created a template, and a lot of there's different products, but each product kind of has the same pattern. And, of the 8 things I mentioned, 6 of them are the same for each product, right? In terms of the guarantee and whatever else. So we've created a spreadsheet for that, with that. And I'm going to have my staff in the Philippines create a cheat sheet. I got a couple college students filming this. We're doing very informally. We found the less production we do, the better people like it. It sounds really counterintuitive.
It's more real. I think people are saying that about, I don't use it myself, but Amazon video ads as well. Lo-fi video ads seem to work quite well once, done on handheld rather than high production values and scripted and stuff.
Yeah, the ones that were scripted, we had tried launching some skincare products a while back, and we used very scripted videos.
Yeah.
And they came off as very wooden and actually a little bit cringy. And a lot of the videos that I shoot for my product introductions or for my newsletter, I do them in my front yard with a phone hanging out, with my big bald head shining in the sunlight. I mean, it's really less is more, I think.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. I don't think Joe's going to be able to get on today. I've just been trying to get him. I've given him instructions and stuff to get on. So I don't think we're going to be able to get him on to this session. But what I'm going to do is this is going to be a multi-parter. So we're probably going to wrap quite soon. Is there anything you want to get to the audience and explain to them, getting started with Shopify and stuff? Because some people, I always say to people, once you get to 100K, then you've got money to burn. Like what you said is that you had a bit of slush fund there and you could do whatever it took just to get it going, right? But I wouldn't advise anyone, unless they're doing 100 grand a month on Amazon, to bother with Shopify or off Amazon, because 1, it takes away from their focus, and 2, you do need to set a new set of rules and a new set of tools in order to make it more of a success, especially with marketing costs.
Well, Danny, look, when I originally started with the Shopify thing, my create something. So
yeah,
I'm completely in here. I think it's really important that you don't limit yourself in terms of, oh my God, all the phones go at once.
Don't worry, we're live, so it's fun. Yeah,
you don't limit yourself with that. If you have the slush fund, you don't need a ton of money to do this. I was always concerned, what if I hire the wrong person? And I've hired the wrong person. And you know what? If they suck and don't deliver, you fire them and you go on the next person. Like I got this amazing Amazon pay-per-click guy, and the guy's just been crushing it for me. Now, he's like my third pay-per-click guy. I went through 4 Google guys.
Yeah.
They don't perform, set goals for them. If they don't do what they say they're going to do, you can them and you move on. But you should absolutely, even if you're not doing 100K a month on Amazon, you should absolutely look at Shopify as something you should focus on, because you never know when Amazon's going to shut off a spigot. And we both have seen Amazon sellers that really had a good niche, and Amazon just stepped in and took over the market. They just put them out of business in one day. So you should absolutely, if you're actually doing this full time, I think you should absolutely do Shopify. And my big suggestion is just be patient and work on the little stuff. It's how your picture looks and how that picture looks. When we did because I use overseas contractors, I had a remedy for anxiety, and she had done this terrifying thing of this guy with no shirt on, his face wrapped in bandages. Like this thing was actually like a horror movie picture. And she put that up as a graphic. I'm like, no, that's terrifying, right? Yeah. But over time, we got really good at it, and we ended up with very high quality graphics. So just be persistent with it, and don't be afraid to lose small.
No, that's fair enough. Kirsten's come back again. While working with SEO, I'm sending traffic from FB, Instagram. We want to add Pinterest and YouTube. Do you have any suggestions or best practices?
I really don't. I mean, our success on YouTube has been mostly accidental, just because every time we do some kind of product interview or something, we've been dumping it on there. My Facebook success has been very limited. I've had a group open for like 8 years, and we don't do great with it because, we solve very specific problems, and the only way we can reach those specific problems right now so far has been Google search and Google shopping ads.
Yeah.
If someone doesn't have that specific issue, our advertising doesn't connect to them, so it's a waste of time.
Yeah, that makes sense. Right, so here we go. Cody's here as well. Cody, welcome. Sorry, I was going to bring him on to next week's show, but because Joe couldn't make it, while you've been chatting, I've been messaging Cody in the background. So I've brought him on today so he can cover some of the bits off from before. So welcome, Cody. How you doing? Can you hear us?
Yeah, I'm doing well. How are you guys doing?
Yeah, good. Do you want to give the audience a little bit of background on yourself?
Yeah, my name's Cody Velker. I've been in e-commerce for about 6 years now, and my background is mathematics degree. So I kind of focus on the analysis of e-commerce and what I like to say, I relate everything back to revenue. Whatever we do online, I try to see if we can get it back to revenue.
Yeah, sounds good. All right. So one of the key things, because you're a math guy, let's talk customer acquisition costs, long-term value of a customer. What do you do? Like, what are you looking for in place for the guys that are listening now? What is going to be key for them? They've just started a Shopify site. They've got to do some sort of projections. Where do they start with that?
So what I would do is I would look at your break-even cost, right? So what is your profit margin? And then just try to go after that. If you can break even on your cost to acquire a customer, then if you're lucky, as I was telling you, Danny, in our messaging, if you're lucky, you can actually then upsell, cross-sell through email marketing. That's what's working really well for us, to get them to purchase more often, and purchase again and more frequently. And by doing so, then all you have to do is break even on your cost to acquire a customer. But sometimes, if you actually make money on when you acquire a customer, that's fantastic too.
Yeah, makes sense. So I take it one of your models is that the only products you sell online would generally be perishable goods, stuff that you can reorder. Like Myro up here, he's got 400 supplements that he sells, different supplements. So obviously there's always that option you've already acquired the customer. It's about bringing them back and purchasing again. What's your take on that?
Yeah, so I do think consumable goods are a good place to play. But the one thing is there's a lot of products out there that aren't consumable, like the bed category. Now, if you're going to play in there, you just have to get kind of creative on what can you get them, what can you add value, to your customer to get them to come back and purchase more often from us. We had a lot of struggle in that arena. So we did have to sometimes make money on that first sale because we might not get somebody back for 6 months plus, or a year, which is kind of a pain.
So what area are you mainly in? You don't have to name the products, but what categories did you say in the bedroom?
So in there, those are like toppers and comforters and whatnot. But now the brand that I'm working with strongly is in the personal protective equipment industry. So we've gotten screwed, like of a better term, on Amazon and some marketplaces, but we're lucky that people are still looking for a product elsewhere.
Yeah, makes sense. Jason says, has Shopify gotten a better at filtering fraudulent orders? How are you guys detecting this with such high volume? This was an issue for us, so we left the platform.
Say getting fraudulent orders?
Yeah, how you been getting to? Have you got a process in place for filtering out fraudulent orders?
So we just use their pre-built fraud detector. We don't get a whole lot, but we do after someone get fraud. If it's getting flagged, we don't automatically cancel the order. We go ahead and we basically just verify. We ask them. We say, hey, we have our customer service reps go in there and say, hey, we got a lot of reason. Like one guy purchased one time. He purchased. His billing was in Florida. his shipping. No, his building was in North Carolina. Shipping was Florida, and the IP was Panama.
Yeah.
So it was like in 3 different places. And I just asked him, okay, can you explain and verify why, all these don't match up, you're flagged fraudulent. And if they have a really good in-depth explanation and it sounds legit, we go ahead and go with it. One sell here and there that, if you get caught with it, isn't going to hurt you. But if you get caught with a bunch of them, then yeah, you're going to have to try to find a better way of kind of getting those out.
Matt Phipps says, not sure if you mentioned it, but I joined late, but Shopify have just extended their free trial from 14 days to 90 days for those that are looking to get started. So that's good news there. What's the pricing strategy for Shopify? More or less than Amazon, free shipping? Okay, so what's the protocol for you, Myro, compared to Amazon? Do you set higher prices or what do you do?
I'm not sure if the question was what the costs were or what my pricing strategy was.
So what they're saying is, compared to what you do on Amazon, how do you approach it? Do you do free shipping? Do you charge for shipping? Is your pricing higher? Is it lower? How does it work for you?
Our pricing is generally a little bit higher on our website. I do offer free shipping. Okay. I've just changed. I used to do a free premium shipping, but we dropped that because FedEx jacked our rates up. Mm-hmm. So I offer a basic shipping. In terms of profitability, the Shopify site is my Shopify sale is a lot more profitable than my Amazon sale, obviously.
Yeah.
Because they're like, oh, Amazon takes this percentage. No, my Amazon takes half. Yeah. By the time you pay for your pay-per-click and you pay for your shipping and your storage and your fees, if you sell $100,000, you're getting 50.
Yeah, sounds good. Same to you, Cody, and welcome, Joe. Finally, 35 minutes in, we got you here. So obviously the show didn't fall over today. So we've got 2 for the price of 1. So we've got Cody here and Joe is here as well. So going to you, Cody, following on from that question, what's your strategy versus what's going on Amazon?
Yeah, so we keep it kind of flat all the way across. We do not want to go cheaper on anyone just because we also have B2B deals with people. So we don't want to, hurt MAP policy. But just like Myro said, we found our Shopify is just way more profitable right now at this time than Amazon.
Everybody keeps pronouncing my name wrong.
Miro. Sorry. I always butchers everyone's name. Miro. Apologies. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
Sorry, Miro.
No, that's right. We've got to give him your birth name. Sorry, Cody.
But yeah. So I keep the prices pretty even, and we found that we're a lot more profitable right now on Shopify because you're not just taking out that 15. Like we were losing, like Miro said, we were probably losing 30 to 40% of our margin on Amazon. So it's a lot easier to. I don't need to really increase my price. I don't mind if I'm spending a little bit more on shipping because we're not spending as much to acquire the customer. If you take into account the referral fees that you're paying on like Amazon, eBay, or Walmart.
Yeah, that makes sense. Joe, let's bring you in. Do you want to give a quick introduction to yourself? We've got your picture. We've got you here. Now we need some volume. Yeah, sorry, go on. Here we go.
You can't hear me?
Yes, we can now.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Oh, okay. I'm Joe Reichfeld. I'm an e-commerce consultant. I work with sellers, both 3P and brands, lots of off Amazon, multi-platform sellers. We have a lot going on.
Yeah.
Shopify's good, although, just things are moving really slow. It's hard to get product. It's hard to move product.
Yeah.
But we're extending some of our shipping times and things are moving. It just depends on your product.
Yeah, that makes sense. So while you're on, because I've got a question earlier on, I think it was from Kirsten. She was asking about while working on SEO, I'm sending traffic to Facebook and Instagram, but want to add Pinterest and YouTube. Do you have any suggestions on best practices? Let's talk about Pinterest because I know you're a bit of a master there.
Pinterest is really good for traffic. It works better when you have content to send them to. Yeah. Pinterest is a visual planning site. The word planning infers I'm not ready to buy today. So when you mix content with your products, you're opening up your audience. Your audience is that much bigger because you get people in all the various stages of the buying journey. So what we do is we'll appeal to the wider subject that the product appeals to and build content around it, which brings people in at the awareness stage. Then we get them into the funnel and drip them to the point of making the decision that you are the right choice for them.
Yeah.
And we have traffic just going through the roof with stuff like that, because with Amazon, you just get people at the buying stage. With content, you get people before they even realize that they have a problem or that there's a product to solve their problem.
Yeah. So you've got they're at the initiation stage, they're top of the funnel before you start to bring them further down. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
And we get them in all the various stages, because we'll take the content, let's say you sell a supplement, a weight loss supplement. We'll wrap the content around healthy living, recipes, exercises that you don't need a gym membership for, the whole gamut. So we're getting all different people at the different stages. We give them a lead magnet. We test where they're at with drip content, and then lead them to the ultimate decision that, hey, I need to do something.
Can you just, for the benefit so people can visualize, can you walk through something like that? Using a weight loss supplement, how would you set this up if someone was listening and wanted to crystallize this in their head or make a note down? How would you set up this from the initiation until the sale? How would you look at doing like a basic funnel for them?
So what we'll do is we'll develop a community. We'll have our e-commerce site, but we'll put it within a community. We'll develop a community around the greater subject of living healthy, and we'll have different content and different lead magnets about different. We'll have a lead magnet about 5 different exercises you can do during your lunch break, or different ways of exercising without having a gym membership. And then somebody comes into that, they'll do the opt-in for the lead magnet, and then we'll drip them through to the next phase of living longer through healthy eating. And if they follow that route, we'll take them into recipes, and then we'll talk about how between how you eat and light exercising and a supplement, you can control and get them on a plan to lose weight. Or if they don't do the eating route and they go the exercise route, we'll take them down that path of how exercising every day at the park for so long, or walking during your lunch helps you. However, try this as well, and we'll give them different suggestions, and we'll do comparisons between the different available supplements. We'll do comparisons between the different programs. I mean, we're not for everybody. We're going to tell people, who we're for, just as much as we'll tell people who we're not for.
Yeah.
What's the sense of bringing the wrong person into the funnel?
Yeah. And how long does something like that take to put together? Because obviously on Amazon, the 2 key things is, can you drive traffic externally to Amazon? Are you good at Amazon ads on Amazon? And are you good at picking products? Because obviously the traffic and everything's there for you, and the trust is built, etc. How long would this take to put something together of that magnitude, the content and the testing, etc.?
Putting the content together, we can do fairly quickly, because we can spring up a site fairly quickly with 5 to 10 articles by going to a site like Text Broker and having them all written. And we have a lot of luck with them. But getting them into the funnel, because you have different people at the varying stages, we can get people into the funnel and get the Amazon-ready people through ads right away. But to develop out the funnel and to build it to where it's consistent, it can take
months,
depending on 4 to 6 weeks to get it going, to get it rolling.
Well, it depends on the velocity of the traffic, because you got to reach statistical significance, haven't you? So it's going to be about the volume of traffic. Yeah.
It's a numbers game. It's definitely a numbers game. And that Pinterest, the thing about Pinterest is, if you have one piece of content, you have 5 or 10 pins, each pin targeted at a specific part of your audience or a specific subject of that topic, all going to the same article.
Yeah.
Your pins you want really specific. So Pinterest is basically just a giant RSS feed. All the categories and topics are each an RSS feed. Your goal is to get at the top of that RSS feed. That's where all the traffic comes from. Yeah. So you name your pins, your your boards, you SEO them to the category names and work in your hashtags and your keywords. That's how you come up at the top of people's feeds when they first log in.
Yeah.
And that's the name of the game. If you name a board, Danny's Saturday Fun, nobody's ever going to see it. But if you name a board weight loss tips with a pipe and then Danny's Saturday Fun, you have a chance now of getting in the feed of maybe 5 million people that follow that category, weight loss tips.
Yeah, that makes sense. And in terms of, would you say, like with Facebook, etc., organic reach is obviously filtered, isn't it? You're limited on your reach. Do you find that with Pinterest as well? Is it throttled, for a better word?
Your reach on Pinterest is based on your engagement. When you first pin a pin, it's shown to your followers. Their engagement determines how much play Pinterest is going to give it, and how many non-following but interested people they'll show it to. So it's really to your benefit to cross-post your social networks. Tell your Facebook group about your Pinterest account, because your most fanatical followers on any channel are the ones that drive your engagement. So if you can get your fanatical followers from Facebook or YouTube or Instagram to also follow you on Pinterest, they'll drive your engagement. Although I also have people that I know have multiple accounts, and they drive their own engagement on their pins initially to get that boost. Yeah.
We got a question here from Bogdan. Hey, Cody, when you look at email marketing to an audience that has already bought from our brands, that has never heard of us on email, what type of results have you seen in this case, and what would your approach be? Try to sell the products right away. We are planning to start a campaign next month. Thanks.
So I kind of follow what Joe does. If they're new to our brand, we kind of give them some free tips and tricks, like Doomsday Preppers, I think was one. We did 7 tips and tricks to be ready for World War III or something like that. It was a fun little thing. And then as they clicked through and we watched certain things they clicked on, we started saying, okay, that particular customer is more likely to move through the funnel and purchase down the road. Let's go ahead and follow him up with multiple ones. And then, of course, it's all about segmentation, just trying to figure out which ones are they doing something? Did they hop into something because you were pre-selling, like you were really advertising that you were about to launch a product, or are they just here because they like content? Just trying to figure out why they came to your website in the first place, and then put them into the right list and then advertising to them that way.
Yeah, makes sense. Joe, what's your take here? Sorry.
There's still something on here. I like Cody's point about the email. The other thing I found was, if you only have a month until your launch, filter the list as much as you can and increase and take people out that aren't interested, because the lower your open rate, it's going to affect how much you get spammed as well. So if you only got a month, really spend that time. It took us months to get our list where it's actually effective. So if you only got a month, put a lot of time and energy into that list.
Yeah. Sorry. That makes sense. Yeah, because at the end of the day, you've got a target. It's no good having a vanity list with no one converting on. You need to get and delist anyone who's not going to be relevant to your product, so you know where you can build on the foundation and grow that list properly. Joe, let's talk about email marketing, etc. with you. What's some of the tools you're using firstly, and some of the things you're deploying at the moment?
So what we do with pre-marketing, for us, marketing starts when production starts. As far as new products goes, we'll start 2 or 3 months out if necessary, because like Miro said, it takes a while to build a qualified email list. But we'll launch with, rather than do rebates or promos on like Amazon, we'll launch with influencers, and we'll use that influencer traffic every day for the first 10 days, which will drive our ranking efforts, just like everybody else. We do a lot of email marketing, and because we work with brands, a lot of times they're not using their previous buyer list, or they do have a list, but that they just don't email enough. We'll mine that, and there's a lot of segmenting. Our email system, it looks really complicated, but it's the same loop. Every single one is the same loop. The whole thing is not wasting traffic. Every visitor that you get, whether they leave or not, you need to pixelize and segment into a different bucket. And then what content we send them is really depending on where they're going. And we'll build lookalike audiences out of it, remarketing, and you can't waste traffic. Every single person that comes to your site or that clicks on an ad, whether they buy or not, is valuable data.
Yeah. Tony says, Joe, thanks for all the great info you provided off Facebook over the years. As a novice to Etsy and Pinterest, what is the best way to research for new products or improvements to existing products?
Polls work fairly well. I'm not so sure about Etsy, but on Pinterest, again, it comes back to content. People dig content. There's, I think they said 2 billion pins. So there's a lot of stuff out there, but it's Pinterest is really focused on fresh content this year. So even if you have old content, make new pins for it. 20 pins for one piece of content is no big deal. It's 20 different specific groups that you're targeting with it. So, if you sell dog food or dog food product, you can have a pin for every breed separately, because that there's a fanatical group out there for every breed. People are just that way about their dogs. And looking at it that way, as opposed to just making a dog pin, feed your dog right, is the difference between that many different feeds that you could come into, and it just exponentially grows your audience.
Andrew says, whom to hire for Pinterest funnels? What are the positions, etc.? So I think he's looking at if he wants to go on FreeUp or one of the other marketplaces to hire an expert, what should he look for in that expert?
Pinterest VA is actually a very popular career path right now. There are some mom bloggers that actually train Pinterest VAs. Mom bloggers are the biggest market of successful people on Pinterest. They're driving a ton of traffic. So and women do most of the purchasing on Pinterest. Even though there's guys on Pinterest, women do most of the purchasing. So if your product's for a guy, tool or something, but you can position it as something somebody would give as a gift to a guy, still target women. It doesn't matter what the product is. We always target women, health, beauty, weddings, because women are the ones spending the money on Pinterest. But Pinterest VA is the position that you're looking for if you're looking to hire somebody for Pinterest. And there are specifically different mom bloggers out there that have programs and train these women, and they do a good job.
That makes sense. Right.
At the beginning, at the beginning, be careful, because at the beginning is when it's most expensive and requires the most work. After they get the account rolling and it's growing on its own, then it doesn't require as much work. They can schedule a month out at one sitting, and that's where you have to just watch what you're spending, because you don't need to still spend as much as you do in the very beginning.
That makes sense. Does anyone want to add anything before we go? Because we're coming up to the top of the hour. We'll do another one next week, next Thursday, like a part 2, because there's so much to cover. Today we're going all over the place because we've had technical issues. I drafted Cody in. Joe couldn't get online. So we got your name wrong. So next week we'll have a bit more of a structure and a bit more order, right? But then we'll focus on different areas. So if anyone's got any questions, add them to the comments. We'll get them answered as well next week. But is there any takeaways for today that people can work on now before we get back here next week, next Thursday, to do part 2? Don't all rush at once.
Okay. I would absolutely suggest, if you're only selling on Amazon, get your feet in the water with a Shopify site. You really want to make sure you have that backup.
Sounds good. Cody, what's your parting words of wisdom?
I agree with Miro. I think if you are doing successfully on Amazon, Walmart, or eBay, take the data that you have there and then leverage it for your own website. You're going to be able to get a lot more return on your investment if you do it that way as well.
Joe, I'll leave the last words with you.
Pinterest is now has more worldwide members than Amazon. Pinterest just passed 350 million members.
Wow.
Amazon only reaches 10% of the buying internet. So what we always do is we on all of our marketing, the bottom of all of our marketing will say now available at these stores or at these locations. Don't just offer Amazon. Offer, even if you don't have a website, offer Stripe as a payment method. You can still fulfill through Amazon if you need to. Don't lose a buyer because, like me, somebody that doesn't purchase on Amazon, if I'm in your funnel, I'm gone. I'll find your website. So put something up there. Don't miss out on a sale just because you might only sell on.
You do crack me up, Joe. You're in the Amazon community, but you won't shop on Amazon.
I spent less than $1,000 on Amazon my whole life.
Yeah. Okay, quick roundup what's going on. Friday, tomorrow, we got Kevin King back talking leveraging your cash. That'll be a good episode to get into tomorrow. So that's Friday. Then Saturday, we got part 5 of Women on Amazon. And then on Sunday, Mindset Sunday, which will be mental health. I'll release details for next week's show. But as I said, we'll do a part 2. It'll be a bit more structured because obviously, technically, it's been all over the place today. Hope you guys have all enjoyed the show. Sorry about the technical issues of getting Joe on earlier. I'll go around the room. If people want to reach you, Joe, what's the best way to reach you?
ecommerce-optimizer.com.
Excellent. Cody, best way to reach you?
Variantecom.com.
Excellent. And you, sir, what's the best way to reach you? Do you give out public details?
Just find me on Facebook. I'm not the only, but Miro Posvic. I'm on Facebook. You guys can find me here.
Excellent. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you to all the groups that share the video content. Obviously, thank to everyone on listening on the podcast. Stay home, stay safe. I'll see you again, same time tomorrow. Much love. Take care.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. See you.